And sit comfortably, getting ready for a bit of a lower body class. So working on the joints of the ankles, knees, and hips. So just making yourself comfortable. You don't have to sit cross-legged. You can also sit on a cushion if you like. Thanks. Way to win teacher's pet points is to comment on my outfits, always. Even if you don't mean it, I'll take it. Okay, so sitting comfortably and just placing your hands wherever they feel comfortable, closing your eyes. And before we start getting nice and present, I think let's just take a little moment to check in, noticing the contents of our mind. Noticing how we feel, maybe more on a nervous system level or an emotional level. Just reflecting in this way with some deep breaths and a little bit of acceptance that how you feel is how you feel. What's happening in your mind is what it is. And that's all okay, but in just a moment, we're going to start to draw in and away from those experiences so that we can really drop into our body, drop into our practice. So after you've done a little bit of tuning in and compartmentalizing that just a little and starting to build some awareness of the sounds around you. Some close by and some further away. And just noticing the air temperature and your clothes resting on your body. And begin to soften and relax into your legs. Relax into your hips, your belly. Soften into your chest and shoulders. See if you can get a little letting go through the shoulders. Softening into your arms, wrists and hands. Maintaining that softness and heaviness through your body as you inhale and lift up through your spine, lifting all the way into the crown of your head. And maybe bringing some softness into your face. And gently bringing your awareness to your breath without changing or judging your breath, just becoming aware of its natural flow. Seeing if you can observe if it feels nice and relaxed and deep, or is it feeling a little constricted and shallow today? Or maybe simply by bringing awareness to your breath, you might realize, hey, I haven't even noticed my breath all day today. It feels good just to breathe. And in your own time, gradually starting to deepen your breath. Inhaling all the way down to the lower lobes of your lungs. Exhale, gently contracting through your belly. Just taking 5 nice, deep and easy breaths. Two more breaths in this way before we introduce the mantra Gauranga. And let's take a breath in together. Exhale completely. And we'll add the mantra Gauranga on the next outward breath. Inhale. Gauranga. Inhale. Gauranga. Gauranga. 2 more rounds. Gauranga. Last time. Gauranga. Returning to your regular breathing pattern. Opening your eyes and getting ready to transition now into some postures. So I'm going to use my bolster for this first warm-up sequence. You can do it without if you like. I just thought it might be a nice modification. Coming into Thunderbolt pose, whether you're on your bolster or sitting straight on your mat. So if you're not on your bolster, just sitting on your heels. Take a breath here. Interlocking your hands. Reach, reach, looking up toward your hands, setting your shoulders down, anchoring down into your hips. Exhale, release the hands, lowering your left hand to the floor, being mindful that it's a higher reach and stretch than when we're sitting with our hips to the floor. So just taking it nice and slow as you reach up and over. And taking it up and over. And keep going, one more time each way. It's making me uncomfortable. And coming back to center. Pressing down into the floor behind you or your bolster. Inhale, lift, opening up through your chest, taking your gaze up. Exhale, walking your hands forward, folding forward over your bolster or folding forward over your thighs. And just take a couple of breaths here. One more breath in. Exhale. Press yourself back up. Now just being mindful of your feet. I recognize that this pose isn't comfortable for everyone, but you're just going to rock back and lift the knees up. And the idea is that you're stretching out through the front of your feet and your ankles. So a little lift. And exhale. Slowly lower down. One. And now transitioning from this, that's a side view for you. Take your hands forward, tuck your toes under, and hands come reaching back behind you, stretching out into the toes now. Come forward and see if you can come up into legs together, knees together, a balancing squat. Working into the feet, the ankles, shoulders down away from your ears, zipping the thighs together to help stabilize through the pose, navel drawing in. Excellent. One more breath here. Exhale. Seeing how you go. Mobility exercise, that one. And feet out in front for some windscreen wipers, rocking your knees from side to side.
Sammy?
Yes.
Yes, the mic is getting kinked a little bit in that spot, I think. So
Okay.
just sometimes.
Is that better here? Hopefully it doesn't. Let me know again if it does get interrupted. And rocking your knees from side to side. All the way over to one side. All the way over to the other side. And come back up to center. Lowering both knees over to the left. Anchoring down into the hips as you rotate around to the left. Taking the right hand to the left knee, turning to look over your left shoulder. Pressing down into the left hand behind you. Inhale, come back to center. And if you have space for it, transition right over to the other side. Planting the right hand behind you, taking the left hand in front of the right knee and turning to look over your right shoulder. Trying to keep that left hip working down as you rotate around. And come back to center. Extending your legs out in front. Bring your right ankle to rest on top of your left thigh. And start to make some circles with your foot. So you're basically just taking your ankle through full range of motion, using the force of your hand and your arm to stretch out into any little areas that feel like it needs it. So you can play with pulling your foot down or flexing your foot back. And taking it around in the opposite direction. And come back to center. Extend out through the right leg, bringing the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Taking hold of your foot and rotating your foot around. I can hear my heel brushing by my lycra like Velcro. Time for a pedicure. Stretching out through the ankle, flexing the foot back. Excellent. All right. Extend both legs. Take some little ankle circles here, circling them away from each other and toward each other. Then press down into your hands, pointing your toes forward. Squeeze your legs on strong. Flex your toes back toward you. We'll do that one more time each way. Pointing the toes forward and flexing back. All right, relax. Come over onto all fours, stacking the shoulders above your wrists and your hips above your knees. Tuck your toes under. So a little bit of a core exercise, but also helping to work through this activation of the ankles, the toes, knees. Inhale, drawing in through the belly, press the floor away with the hands, pressing into the toes, hovering the knees just above the mat. Holding here for another 5 breaths. Try to relax in between your shoulder blades, navel drawing in. And exhale, knees to the floor, lower your chest down. Holding here for a breath. Exhale, belly to the floor. Adjusting your hands so that they're underneath your shoulders, elbows working in, and forehead to the floor. Moving with your breath, inhale, warming up your spine, baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. Just gradually moving a little higher into the back bend with every breath until you reach your capacity. let's do one more. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Tuck your toes under, knees to the floor. We're going to make our way up into downward dog, but a warm-up version. Also, just let me know, I've got my necklace on, which sometimes it hits the microphone, so just let me know if it starts to make a little whacking kind of a noise. So raising the knees up and taking your time to move into the pose. So we're going to do specifically a warm-up version of downward dog where we focus on paddling the feet, also bent knees, not so much a full expression of stretching out in downward dog. So hands are nice and firmly planted on the floor, reaching into your hips, bending through your knees, and drawing the belly up and in as you reach the chest in toward the thighs. And then balance out through the spine and begin to paddle out through your feet, lifting and lowering, going from side to side. And if you feel confident that you have the ankle mobility, you can bring your feet together in downward dog and roll onto the outside edge of the right feet, pressing your hips back. And shoulders come forward, roll back to center, over to the other way. Come back to center. Both feet to the floor. Then inhale. You can keep the knees bent if you like as you raise one leg up. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, raise the left leg up. Exhale, lower it down. So again, an informal stretch just to work into the hips. If you have a variation of this three-legged dog stretch that we're about to go into, please go ahead and feel free to maneuver your hips however feels comfortable. Raising the right leg up, roll the hips open so you're stacking the right hip on top of the left. Bending through the knee, bringing the heel in toward the glutes. And you can play with some little knee circles if you like. Really feeling into your hip joint. And one more. Raise the leg up, lower down. Let's go to the other side. Raise the leg up, open up through the hips, bending the leg. And either staying there and just enjoying that stretch or taking some little knee circles. They do feel a little bit awkward, just in case you're wondering if it's just you. They do actually feel quite tricky and awkward. Looking between your hands, walking your feet forward. Bending through your knees, folding forward over your thighs, taking a stretch here. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins, flat back. Exhale, folding forward, bending through your knees if you like. Inhale, if you would like to straighten your legs at this point, fingertips to the floor or hands to your shins, flat back. Exhale, fold. One more time as a warm-up. Inhale, reaching your heart center forward. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, bend through your knees, slowly roll up. Take a breath in Tadasana, getting ready for sun salutations. We're going to do a chair variation for sun salutes. So we'll be going through chair as we begin our sun salute, and as we come up from standing, we'll be going through just a breath in chair pose because it really does target the hips, knees, and ankles. So it's like a nice one-stop shop for a hip, knee, and ankle class. All right, hands together in prayer position, standing at the top of your mat. Inhale, really just trying to move with your breath. Exhale, folding forward. So if you need to go a little slower or a little faster than me, by all means, go ahead. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bend through the knees, coming through chair. Take a breath, scoop in through the belly. Exhale, fold forward. Jump or step back into plank. And looking forward, lower down. Inhale, lift up, upward dog. Exhale, lift back into downward dog. Holding here for 3 breaths. Of all classes, today, you can justifiably say, I'm working on my knees. And bring your knees to the floor for child's pose for downward dogs that you're not feeling too keen on. One more breath. And inhaling, raise your right leg up. Exhale. Step your foot in between your hands. Lower your back knee down, flatten your foot. Inhale. Taking your time, reach up. Exhale, soften down into your hips. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, raise the left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Back knee to the floor. Inhale. Exhale. And exhaling, hands to the floor, step back, lower down. Inhale. Exhale. Looking between your hands and jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend through your knees, coming up through chair pose, 1 breath. Inhale, press all the way up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Let's do 1 more salute. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Down through chair. Folding forward. I think I did that differently to the last one. I'm so sorry. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back into plank. And lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Holding here for 3 breaths. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step it through. Back knee to the floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Moving with a bit more fluidity now. Exhale, inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, stepping it through. Inhale, straight into lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Looking between your hands and jumping or stepping your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend through the knees, come up through chair. Inhale, press all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now inhaling, we're going to go through a mountain calf raise series. So inhaling, hands by your side, shoulders down away from your ears, and slowly and carefully pressing down into your toes, gripping the earth with your toes, start to raise up through your heels. So you'll feel your balance challenged. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting up, up, up. Exhale, lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Now separate the feet hip distance apart. Interlock your hands. Inhale, raise the arms up. As you raise up high onto your toes, hold for a breath. Exhale, keeping the hands interlocked as you lower the arms down, lower the heels down. Inhale, reach up. Lift the heels. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Exhale, lower down. 1 more time, navel drawing in, inhale. Exhale, lower down, and release. Relax. Shake out your feet, shake out your legs. And inhaling, come back to hands in front of your heart center. Take a breath. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back into plank. And lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. So as we move through standing poses now, just remembering too that you can transition by stepping between the poses. You don't need to go through a flow to get from one side to the other. It's an option. And sometimes you can do the flow, and other times you might decide, nope, I need a break from the flow, and that's all good. Inhale, raise the right leg up. Exhale, stepping your foot in between your hands, getting ready for high lunge. Back knee stays up off the floor. Reach into the back heel, bend through the front knee. Inhale. Shoulders stacked above the hips. Navel drawing in. Shoulders down away from your ears as you reach up into your fingertips. Staying here for 5 breaths. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the floor, either side of your foot. Step back into plank, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step your foot forward. Bending through the front knee, reaching into the back heel. Inhaling, come up. Feeling the hips, knees, and ankles working. Inhaling. Exhale. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, raising the right leg up. Exhale, stepping the foot forward, coming back into high lunge. And going for 5 knee taps on each side. Carefully lowering the back knee down and raising the leg up. Press down into the feet and toes. And when you've done 5, reach up and exhale over to the other side. Inhaling the left leg up, exhale. Step that foot forward, get nice and grounded in your foundation. Drawing in through the belly and the hips. Inhale, exhale to press back up. You could breathe the other way as well. Exhale down, inhale to lengthen through the back leg. I'm going to do 1 extra for good luck. Exhale, hands to the floor. Oh yes. Inhaling up, exhale. Inhale, moving into a stretch now, taking your foot forward, right foot forward. Inhaling up, and then exhale. Lower the back knee to the floor. Flatten out through the back foot, coming into lunge position. Stretching out into the hips. Those knee taps got me good. And then shifting your hips back and forward. Go for 5 repetitions, and then we'll take it back into half split position for a few breaths. And taking it back, holding here. Walking your hands forward and lift and lengthen through your spine. Reach back into your hips and flex your toes back toward you. Shift your hips forward, hands to the floor. Step back into plank, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Starting in high lunge, and then exhale, lowering the back knee down. Flatten out through your back foot, hands to your front knee. Softening down into your hips, dropping into a nice deep stretch. Inhale, and exhaling. Hands either side of your foot, shifting your weight, your hips back and forth. So there's, as we know, these dynamic movements, repetitive movements are really nice for lubricating the tissues. So just getting the hip joints nice and juiced up. And when you're ready, taking your hips back, holding there for a few breaths. All right. Shifting your weight forward, hands either side of your foot, toes to the floor, step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, knees to the floor, hips to your heels, coming into child's pose. Bring your forehead to the floor and arms alongside your body. Belly to your thighs, taking 5 full breaths. Two more breaths here. I think I can hear someone's not on mute. If it's just, if we can just do a quick mute check. Thank you. Slowly come up. Okay. Make sure you got your belt handy by the front of your mat. And lifting up into downward dog. Looking between your hands and jumping or stepping your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take hold of your belt and come all the way up. Exhale. All right, we're going to go into standing big toe pose. So you may or may not need the belt for this, but I'll just demonstrate with the belt. But it is going to be nice and strengthening for your ankle and a nice opener for the hip as well. So just taking the middle of your belt around the sole of your right foot. Holding both ends of the belt in your right hand, taking your left hand to your hip. Inhale, raising the knee up. Squeeze your hips in toward each other to stabilize the pelvis, and then raise the foot out in front. So if this feels like, I might be able to reach for my toes, taking the first 2 fingers around your big toe. And either staying here or taking your leg out to the side. I've got a wall there. So you're going to fix your gaze at a point in front of you and keep this hand here is actually a really nice anchor to keep reminding this hip to stay firmly aligned with your knee, and your right thigh bone hugs back into that right hip. And slowly bring the foot back to center. I'm going to exhale, release the belt if you're using one. Take a little break here, then wrap the toes around. Oh yes, no. Going straight from here, then wrapping the toes around, coming into eagle pose. Toes to the floor if that feels too strong, especially after already doing a balancing pose. Taking the left arm under, right arm over the top. And taking a few breaths here. Dropping down into your hips, but pressing down actively into your foot. Exhale, release. Shake out that left foot. Oh yes, got a nicely worked there. All right, getting ready for the other side now. I'll go from this angle. Inhaling, taking the belt around the sole of the left foot if you like. Getting nice and centered through the hips, navel drawing in, active through the right thigh. So squeezing your whole thigh to help stabilize and start to raise your foot and your leg out in front. Right hand to the right hip, shoulders down away from your ears, staying with your breath. And if you like, transitioning, taking it out to the side. Slowly guiding your leg back to center. Release. Lowering the leg down, take a little rest, and then taking the left leg over the right, wrapping the toe around, coming into eagle pose. Right arm under, left arm over, intertwining the forearms, dropping down into your hips, active through that supporting foot, reaching into the crown of your head. Exhale, release. Shaking out, shaking out through your feet and legs. And if you're not already, standing at the top of your mat, inhale. Last standing poses, exhale, folding forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to the floor and jump or step back. Lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Hold for 3 breaths. Take a child's pose if you like. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, stepping your foot in between your hands, spin the back foot down, cartwheel the arms up, bending through that front knee, coming into warrior two. And just adjusting your feet so that your heels are aligned, dropping down into that front thigh, shoulders down away from your ears and turning to look just beyond your right fingertips. And just checking in with your hip, knee and ankle, and if you notice your knee is dropping in, just pressing it open a little, feeling that activation through your hip, stacking the knee right above the ankle. And on your next inhale, taking it back, big stretch. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the floor, either side of the foot. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhaling the left leg up. Exhale, stepping the foot forward. Spin the back foot down. Aligning your feet and then coming up into warrior two. Checking the knee is stacked above the ankle. Lifting through the inner arches of your feet. Steadying your breath. Exhale. Big inhale, slide your back hand down your back leg, reaching up and over with the left arm. Exhale. Cartwheel the hands to the floor. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Downward dog. So our transitional pose is garland, to move from standing to seated poses. If you like, you can walk your hands back and turn your toes out, drop down into garland. Or if you want to try something a little bit more dynamic, you can jump your feet to the outside edges of your mat. and sit. All right. Pressing the palms together in prayer position in front of your heart, and upper arms, elbows working to the insides of your legs. Pressing your knees apart until you feel a nice stretch through your hips and your inner thighs. See if you can really drop down into your hips, but simultaneously reach into the crown of your head, lengthening your spine. And from here, inhale, opening up into a twist to one side. Exhale, down and around, over to the other side. And if you want to try something a little bit fun, if you like binds, you can either keep going like this, or see if you can reach for your hand behind you and turn to look over your shoulder, and you'll feel that it just accentuates the stretch on that hip. And unravel. Over to the other side. And binding around your knee. Staying there for one more breath. And exhale. Take a little reach and bow forward and rock your hips from side to side. And then lower your hips down and stretch your legs out in front. Give them a little shake. All right, hands to the floor, either side of your hips. Flex your toes back toward you. Lift, lift, lift through your spine. And scoop up and in through your belly, walking your hands forward, reaching for your feet, or wrapping a belt around the soles of your feet as you fold forward. Firming through your thighs. We're going to stay here for about 5 to 10 breaths. Closing your eyes if you like. Allowing every exhalation to move you just a little deeper or softer or internalized into the pose. Inhale, slowly come up. Same energy, same focus. Bring the right foot into the inside of your left thigh. Lifting up, folding forward. 10 breaths on the left, folding over the left leg. If you hear me stop breathing, it's because I'm trying not to breathe directly into the mic. Just 2 more cycles of your breath here. Slowly lift up. Change sides, extend out through the right leg, bring the left foot in. Lift and lengthen and fold forward. Two more breaths. Press yourself back up. Changing sides again, this time extending out through the left leg, bringing the right foot to the floor, sole of your foot to the floor and the knee up. So this is a bit of a fun little bind, so I'll take you into it through stages, keeping this left leg nice and active, firm thigh and toes flexed back toward you. You're going to drop your chest down to the inside of this bent leg. So you might feel comfortable just reaching for your foot and folding forward here, or if you can, wrapping the arm back behind you and reaching for your hand. I'll just show you from a front on view. So foot comes in as close as you can get it right into your hip, so it's really nice and compact through the hip and knee, and you get a tiny bit of a stretch through the ankle as well. Wrapping that upper arm in front of the knee, reaching behind you, and then this arm comes for a nice hold. And once you're in that position, you can fold forward. The more you draw forward by holding onto your hands and lifting your chest forward, lowering forward over that leg, you'll feel a little bit more depth in the stretch in your hip as well. So the weight of your body moving forward helps to draw the knee back, creating a deeper stretch in the hip. Slowly unravel. Let's go to the other side. Standing the right leg out, bring the left foot in. Heel in nice and close to your hip. And dropping the shoulder down to the inside of the knee. Wrapping the hand around, binding the hands together. And then the more you drop the chest forward, the more you can draw back through that knee. Keeping both hips rooted down. And slowly release. Give your legs a little shake. Okay. Options here. We're going to go into pigeon. I've chosen a seated pigeon with the ankle on top of the thigh for this class, but isn't really a hips class if we don't do a classical pigeon. So if you feel like you would like to do the classical pigeon, knee and hip to the floor, leg extended back, go ahead and do that now. If you'd like to stay upright, taking your right ankle to the top of your left thigh. And walking your hands closer and closer into your body, lifting through your lower back, press the knee away. Flexing your foot. And the more you walk your hands closer and bring your chest and your belly closer to your legs, pressing that knee away in the opposite direction, or in the same direction, I should say. Moving the knee away from your torso. You'll start to feel a stretch there. And just like when we rock our hips a little to the left or to the right in classical pigeon, you can also rock this, maneuvering your supporting knee a little from side to side. And as you start to yield a little bit, you might be able to move a little closer, make the pose a little more compact, a little more intense. Rocking that left knee very slowly and carefully from side to side. A couple more breaths here. And getting ready to release, walking the hands back. Not assuming that it's going to feel the same on the other side, so completely reset the pose. If you're in classical pigeon, making your way out of that side and transitioning over to the other side. If you're doing upright, taking the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Press the knee away, get a feel for how your hip feels, flexing through that left foot, and then start to walk your hands in. Walk your foot in a little closer, lift through the chest, lift the lower back forward. And then gently rocking the right knee a little from side to side. Holding here for a couple more breaths. And slowly release. Relax. Take a very relaxed position, rocking your feet from side to side. So if your legs are outstretched, just rotating the feet from side to side. And notice that subtle movement in your hips as well, feeling that rotation internally and externally. One more time each way. Excellent, relax. Okay. So coming onto our knees now for a couple of two balancing postures, starting with gate latch. All right, stack the shoulders, hips, and knees, then extend the right leg out. Turning your knee to face the sky, toes pointing down, and inhale as you raise the left arm up. Really reaching through this whole side of your body. And with your knee switched on so that this leg and this joint is protected, start sliding your right hand. We're not lowering our body weight onto our leg, just hand resting there to the shin and then reaching up and over. And keep pressing down into the knee and keep trying to, it doesn't need to be exactly aligned, but the more you reach that hip over to the left to keep it stacked above the knee, the more you'll feel that nice stretch all around the top of this pelvic area here. Couple more breaths here. Slowly come up. Bring the right knee in. Take a breath. Exhale. Extend the left leg out. Point the toes down. Knee is facing up toward the ceiling of the sky. Inhale the right arm up. Reach, and fold over the left leg. Good. Balancing here. Navel drawing in. And slowly come up. Exhale. Rest on your heels. Okay. Now coming over onto all fours. If your knees are getting a bit sore, just make sure you take a blanket under your knees. So from this position, we're going to go into raising one leg out to the side. So starting by taking, we'll go right side first. Right leg out to the side. Seeing if you can raise the right leg up and lower the foot down. It looks so simple, but it's really not. Cries while teaching. Okay, toe out to the side. Raise up, lower down. Trying to keep your pelvis nice and level. And down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. For 5 reps on each side, bringing that knee in, extending the left leg out. Recruiting your whole body, so active and strong through the shoulders, navel drawing in, press into the floor, raise the left leg and down. So it's completely fine if you just get a little, only you can get your heel, maybe your toe stays on the floor, but you're only lifting your heel, because this is a pretty unique movement, not something we do in our daily lives. Lift up, lower down. Lift up, good. Hips stay nice and balanced. Excellent. Lower down. Okay, I'm gonna go around to this side. And now taking the left arm up, right leg back. And we're gonna go into an angel arm on the left side and fire hydrant on the right side. So a bit of coordinating here. Dynamic movements, 5 on each side. Bending through the elbow and the knee out to the opposite side. Come back. One more time. Come back. Lower down. Raise the right arm up, left leg back. Bending out to the sides and back. One more time. Nice. Exhale. Both hands to the floor. Bring your big toes together, knees out wide, coming into child's pose. Going into your favorite variation, or turning your head to one side, threading your arms through. Taking 2 breaths on one side, and then turning your head to the opposite side. Don't know if you could hear that. 2 breaths on each side. I wasn't talking into the mic. All right. Slowly press yourself up. Knees together. Come down to lay on your back. Okay. Feet to the floor, getting ready for bridge pose. We'll do some little warm-ups into bridge. And then we'll take our leg into the air and we're going to do some hip lifts on one leg. So when we get to that variation, if it feels too strong to do it one-legged, you can have both feet on the floor and do some hip raises. Arms down by your sides, palms down. Tucking your tailbone, press into your feet and slowly lifting up one vertebra at a time. Then exhale, lowering your spine back to the floor, then hips to the floor. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Now this time we'll lift up all the way into bridge pose, holding this position. Lifting up, making your way into the pose as far as you'd like to go into it today. Maybe you just want to go into a more relaxed, modified version, and that's completely fine. Otherwise, interlocking your hands, pressing into your forearms, and lifting up. Feeling your chest moving in toward your chin, lifting up through your hips, and feeling your glutes, your knees, a little bit your ankles working. All right, now if you're going for hip lifts with both feet on the floor, you're going to keep your feet where you are, where they are. And separating your hands, palms down for extra support. So 2 feet on the floor is just lift and lower, lifting and lowering, like so. For one-legged position, just shifting your left foot in slightly so that you have more balance in the pose. Then inhale, raising the right leg up. Exhale. Whew. I took too long to instruct and now my hips are really already burning. So we're going to go 5 on each side. Down and up. Keeping that leg fully extended and lifted. And when you've completed 5, lowering the right foot down pretty much to the midline of the body. Press down into your palms, extend the left leg up, bridge position, then lower and lift. Keep breathing. When you've finished 5 repetitions, lower both feet down. We're going to go 1 more lift, lift, lift into bridge, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release your spine to the floor. Lower your hips to the floor. And your reward is happy baby. Yay! First of all, tuck your knees in toward your chest. And then take hold of your feet. And bending through the knees. Stretching into the hips, lengthening your tailbone down toward the floor. Shoulders down away from your ears. Gently rock from side to side if you like. And then come back to center. 1 full breath. Well, from here, if you'd like a more passive pose, bring the soles of your feet together, lowering your feet to the floor, coming into reclined butterfly position. If you feel like you want a bit more of a stretch, take hold of your feet and extend your legs out to the side and return your feet back to center. I'm just going to move over so I don't hit the wall. Open and lengthen, tailbone reaches down for the floor. Exhale, bring the soles of the feet back together. Inhale, lengthen. And don't be afraid to press the feet down a little to accentuate the stretch. Exhale. Maybe your legs don't fully extend, but even if you get a stretch with bent legs, taking the legs out, feeling that stretch through the hips. Continuing on for a few more breaths, and if you're in reclined butterfly, just focusing on your breath. One more repetition, and then we're going to hold it here for 3 breaths. So inhale, full extension, and holding it at your edge. Exhale. Release the hold of your feet and hug your knees in. And both feet to the floor. So now if you're in butterfly position, bringing both feet to the floor, walking your feet out to the outer edges of your mat, and everybody's back in harmony again, doing the same thing. Lowering your knees in toward each other, turning your palms up, just for a little resting pose. Beautiful. Now let's roll over onto our front, getting ready for not child's pose, not yet. Frog pose. Okay, just a couple more poses and then we'll be winding down. For frog pose, if you need cushioning under your knees, take some blankets under your knees or double over your mat. And walk your feet and your knees out. If you have a wall handy or even the bottom of your couch, you can run the soles of your feet against the wall, which can be handy because you've got a point of reference for a bit of feedback for shifting your hips forward and back. Sometimes our feet just tend to slip away. And then once your feet are comfortable, try and align your knees with your ankles. Feet are flexed out to the side. And then your hips with your knees. Now, it's really easy to go path of least resistance in this pose and shift your hips just a little bit forward and you don't quite feel the stretch. And then you'll notice if you shift your hips back, it can be almost a shock as to how intense it can get quite quickly. And if it is really overwhelmingly intense, just dial it back a bit. Lift your hips up. You can even lay over your bolster as well if you need a little bit more support. And that'll allow you to relax a little bit more. Yes, yes, yes. And then just taking frog position. We'll stay here for about 10 breaths. We had to do one deep hip opener, considering it's a hips class. So you can see here, if I shift my weight forward like this, I feel absolutely nothing. If I shift my weight back 1 inch, it's like my whole life trauma wants to come up. No, it's good, it's good, it's good. Sorry, I'm interrupting your experience. It's very serious. This frog pose is very serious. All right, a few more breaths here. Don't you love it sometimes when you're having a healing moment where laughing and crying kind of feels the same? You cry, but then you turn into giggles or laughing, or you're laughing and then it turns into crying. And it's like you don't know what's happening, but you know it's good that it's coming out. Yes. Frog pose be a bit like that sometimes, I reckon. All right. You can slowly start making your way out of the pose. I actually feel like my hips are just starting to soften and yield now, which is typical for these yin style postures where your tissues take a little while to actually, your nervous system and your tissues take a bit of time to actually let go, which is one of the reasons why we do spend a bit longer holding these sorts of poses. Slowly and carefully bring your knees back together, pressing down into your forearms, lifting yourself back, coming into child's pose. You can do child's pose with your legs separated over a bolster if you like. Relax completely. And then come forward onto your belly. Oh, no, not quite belly yet. Last pose, bolster. Grab your bolster. So we've just done quite a strong external hip rotation. Now we're going to do supported hero pose. Much like the thunderbolt at the beginning of our practice, but we're preparing to go into supine hero over the bolster. So this is a bit of a transitional position, just sitting over your bolster, and it's got slight internal rotation with the hips. Your feet are just tucked nicely alongside you. And just starting to relax in this position. And you might choose to just stay here on your bolster and press back into your hands and relax in this position. If you're comfortable and comfortable with hero and feel up to it, dropping down to the floor with your hips and laying back over your bolster for reclined hero pose. Turn your palms up. And tuning into your breath. Making the most of this really openness through your chest, ribs and lungs by taking full deep breaths. Two more breaths here. Hands to the floor. Slowly making your way up. Lifting your hips. Bring your knees back together. One more little child's pose to take the spine in the opposite direction. And press yourself up. You can do flapping fish over the bolster if you like. So, classical flapping fish is to lay down on your belly and go right arm and left leg first. So right arm to the floor, either arm extended with your cheek and your ear resting on your arm, and then just slide the left leg up to a comfortable position, and this left arm is placed wherever feels comfortable. So this is the more kind of relaxed restorative version. Full version is to bind the hands together and lay down to the forearms. So there's a little bit more of a stretch through the shoulders. But arm extended, taking the bolster underneath the leg. Is this not just like, this is how I like to sleep at night? Good night, everyone. So you can take your bolster in however you like. Maybe just bringing it in nice and close to your torso, leg up, arm over. And it's that contact feeling too of the bolster that just feels so nurturing. We'll take 5 breaths on this side and we'll transition over to the other side if we haven't fallen asleep. I think I'd take this over Shavasana. You know how it's like that meme? I'm just here for the Shavasana. I do love a good Shavasana, but also flapping fish is like, yes, 100%. All right, so with as little disruption to your body as possible, we'll make our way over to the other side. You can go front ways if you like, or you can go onto your back. Take your bolster with you. It's a little bit trickier to switch over sides when you've got your bolster, because without a bolster you just go flop onto the other side. Yes. And relax. One more breath here. All right, moving your bolster out to the side, but keep it handy because we're almost ready for Shavasana. I'm going to move mine out of the way though for video purposes. And we're moving now into our final twist. So coming onto your back, rolling over onto your right side. As a transition from flapping fish, you can do basically the same movement, but just drawing that left top shoulder back. So knee is already on the floor, and you're really just focusing on the more you draw that top shoulder back, the more you'll feel the stretch and rotation through your spine. If you're feeling fancy and you do feel like doing something a little bit energetic, you can then reach for your foot, bending through the right knee, going into cattail twist. So this creates a little bit more of an arch and rotation through the spine, and also stretches through the front of the thigh, works into the knee and the hip. And release. Moving over to the other side. Straighten out through the left leg. Taking the right knee all the way across. Knee to the floor, and then start to take the top shoulder back. The right shoulder starts moving back, extending the arm out. If you like, reaching for your foot. Oop. And pressing the foot into the hand, taking the top shoulder back. Slowly release. Rolling over onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Taking any last little stretches that your body might be craving. And then making yourself comfortable for Shavasana. You guys lie down, take a blanket, cover your eyes if you like. And you might also like to try laying on your front for Shavasana as well. Prone Shavasana. Just wherever you've landed, just starting to do a bit of reflection, noticing how your body feels after your practice. And noticing how your mind is feeling. Taking a short moment of gratitude for the opportunity to engage in the yoga process, and to do so with our friends, with people we enjoy practicing with, spending time with, that we trust and can connect with. And now moving into guided relaxation. So just relaxing each body part as I mention it. Taking your awareness all the way down to the soles of your feet. Relax your toes, from your big toes to your little toes. Relax the soles of your feet. And feel your heels getting heavier and heavier. Relax your ankles. And relax to your calf muscles. Soften into your knees. And soften into your thighs. Relax your left hip and your right hip. And feel the sides of your torso melting down toward the floor. And bringing your awareness into your abdominal region. And feeling all of the internal and external tissues of this area softening and relaxing. Relax into your chest, your ribs, and all the muscles in between each rib. Softening into your lungs and heart area. And feel your collarbones broadening and releasing. Relax your shoulders from the tops of your shoulders down into your shoulder blades. Relax your upper arms, elbows, and forearms. Relax your wrists and hands. And gently move your awareness to your lower back area. Feel your sacrum broadening and releasing. Release your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and your neck. Your head is getting heavier and heavier as it rests against the floor. Smooth out any creases in your forehead. And feel your eyes to be heavy. Relax into your temples, your jaw, your mouth, and your tongue. Your entire body is heavy and relaxed. You feel safe and warm. Simply resting in this nice consciously relaxed state for about another minute or another 10 cycles of your breath. With nothing else to do and nowhere else to be, just simply rest. Slowly coming back into your body by wriggling your fingers and toes. And gently rock your head from side to side. Begin to reach out into your limbs. If you like, you can stay laying down. Otherwise, sitting up for our final kirtan. I'm going to do a different tune today. I don't often change tunes because I like things to be same, consistent. But 7 months in now, time for a new tune. So we'll be singing Madana Mohana Murari. Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Haribo, Haribo. Your turn. Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Haribo, Haribo. Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Haribo, Haribo. Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Madana Mohana Murari, Haribo, Haribo. Once more, all together. Madana Mohana Murari, Madana hands together in prayer position. Bowing our heads to offer our respects to each other. And bowing our heads once more to offer our respects to the Supreme Soul. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming to practice. It was lovely to hang out with you guys, and always lovely to share these practices with you. Hope you're feeling good. No tears from hips. Yes. Oh, I love it. All right, everyone. Sweet dreams. Good night. Haribo. Namaste. Bye.